Bill Carne.
Hello, young fella. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's Feel Good Friday. I'm on a sports high because of the antics of our county town's football team, and I'm talking to you at 7 minutes past seven. What more could I possibly want on a Friday, Bill?
Well, we have to say well done to Tony Pennock and his boys there. They seem to be overcoming the odds. They're playing against these teams who've got far more experience, far more professional players, yet still holding their own. I mean, when they went 1-0 down early and then 2-0 down and their captain, Jazz Richards, off, you have to think, oh, blimey, 3-4-0. But they lost 2-1. Now, in a way, that's a victory, isn't it? They've got
One.
an away goal going to Cardiff next week. If they can score one and then get the penalties, that would be the fourth on the trot. But I'm hoping they'll 1-0 will do me next week. That would be very nice. Yeah, away goals count double.
Yeah, no, it would be fantastic, wouldn't it? And but Jazz going off at half time. We've got a sports chat, which was a bit like a fire engine's bell going off. Yes, last night we're all providing our own commentary, and I was concerned that with Jazz going off that experience that they were going to lose their shape. But considering these boys most of them haven't been together very long, they're gelling very well, Bill.
It's amazing if you look. I mean, that's the thing that struck me in Cardiff last week because I was there. I can say that you blighters weren't. And I'll be there this week, and some of the other boys will be there as well. But the team spirit was very evident. You've got the youngsters there, eager to get on. 3 got on last week. Um, it's a small squad, and you look at the way Pennock rallies those, the way you put players in. Those youngsters got a chance in Cardiff. He won't just let someone carry on and risk injury. He's a thorough professional manager, and yeah, it's a great time for the county. And I've never known people in other clubs, I nearly mentioned a couple then, who are so engrossed in this and supporting Haverfordwest and saying about the changing rooms being locked, disgraceful, turn off the showers in the away team's changing room next week, make them train on the park outside, not. So, yeah, we're already having a few visitors. It's nice to see Vic WB and our old friend Steve Pele Price on. Steve will be up doing a good job keeping the streets clean in Haverfordwest this morning. Well done, Stephen Bach.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And Bill, you're making the travel back up to Cardiff on this coming Thursday. Tickets are available if you want to get up there and support the boys.
And I think there'll be a lot of people go. There were 3 busloads last week. It'll be interesting to see how many go this week. I'm hoping to coerce Gordon Thomas and Fraser Watson, those alleged sporting aficionados, to take the trip with me because I can con one of them into driving, Tom. I offered them food on the way. But yeah, I'm really relishing the thought of cheering them on. I'm sorry for Tom Pritchard, who I sat with last week, who's the man who does all the sort of information during the game, and he's away on a family holiday. He's a young fella, lives in Neyland with mum and dad, and he's on a long arranged booking to, I think, Lanzarote. He's sick as a parrot.
Oh no! Missing history being made. Haverfordwest County have never got this far in the tournament, and only on their second visit. It's amazing. So we'll keep you updated as that match progresses next week, and also anything that happens in between as well. Looking closer to home, Bill, it's been a bit of a wet, mixed week, really.
It has. If you look at it, the cricket at this time of the year, there aren't a number of games in midweek because in many competitions they've reached semi-final stages. This week is the Alec Colley Cup semi-finals. Cresselli lost to Carew 139 for 9, and Carew had 156 for 4. But the other semi-final, Langham against Burton, was postponed last night because of the wetness of the pitch from the night before. That's hopefully played tonight at Hook. So people want a bit of cricket on a Friday night, get along and watch a good game tonight at Hook. Or conversely, Tom, pop down to Loreni because the Ormond Plate competition is on there. That's for the teams that didn't make the final in the Ormond competition itself. And tonight is Kilgetty versus Neyland at Loreni, 5:30 start. Early start there to squeeze it in. And then on Sunday, the actual Ormond Youth Cup final is on. That's a mix of Carew and Loreni against Whitland. It's at Carew. Slight home advantage for them, but that's where it's played traditionally, and no one would want to change that. That's a 12 noon start on Sunday. It's usually a showpiece event, and when those two clubs are there, I can tell you there's usually a massive crowd. I mean, Whitland went through a spell, but I think they won it 9 times in 11 years
Oh,
when it
wow.
really was in its pomp. And the crowd from there, Carew will have a great home crowd. Be a big crowd there on Sunday. That's 12 noon start.
That's amazing. There's still so much cricket going on, and one other thing that we haven't really touched on is that there's the T20 competition going on as well. I know it's not something that you've put on your notes, but I've just had a brainwave of the Facebook post coming up. It's Craig Butland, isn't he? He does a great job of keeping everyone updated there.
Craig started that last year. He sends me the results. I make sure they go on site because it needs publicity. And of course, our old friend Richard Howell, the Ken Morris Cup is still going strong in Narberth as well. There was one game last night. I've got the results sent to me as usual. That'll be on my site a bit later this morning. And in the end, it's great to see those competitions, Tom, because it gives more cricket to players who are not going to be in the Harrison Allen, who are not good enough perhaps to get in their club's second team to play in the Alec Colley. So they're great competitions, and they allow a bit more flexibility. And if games are off, they can rearrange them. I think that's important in cricket. I still would like to see games that are rained off on a Saturday, as they were last weekend, played again and give the clubs that just a slight bit of flexibility to say, if it's okay on the Sunday, you can play as long as both clubs agree. It's not easy because you might have one club say we want to play, and the other say we don't want to play. What you do then? But those two competitions allow cricket to be played, and you and I agree, it's got to be cricket for all.
Yes, oh, definitely. The more opportunities, the better, because like the stories that we hear with your interviews that you and Fraser compile and collect over the weeks and over the seasons. Cricket in particular seems to have a real family atmosphere. It's a nice day out with your family, and it just keeps people together.
You're right. And the proof of that is if you look at, say, Carew's team, there's a lot of brothers who play, their fathers played before. I mean, Brian Hall and his wife Kate have got 3 very talented teenage boys, and they all play for Carew, and they've actually played in one game where all 5 played. Very often now, the 3 boys play, and Dad is playing as well. And a lovely moment the other week, they were at a game supposed to be watching Dad. They played non-stop in the nets, the 3 of them, and that's why they're so blinking good. And if you look at them throughout the county, there's families playing, and families go along to watch. You can do that in cricket. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's really nice. And in fact, Carew's probably one of the fixtures to look out for in Division 1. They're second, facing off against St Ishmael's, who are fourth, having a remarkable season.
Yeah, well, you've said quite rightly this year, Tom, how well St Ishmael's have done. They've got some very, very good players. There's a time of sadness at the moment in St Ishmael's because Chris Bradshaw has passed away, and Wendy, his wife, is the leading light in Tish. She plays that down, but they all call her Auntie Wendy, and she's lost her husband this week. So thought goes out to her and to Peter, who's a star player, and Sarah, who's in Australia, and their kids. So it's a sad moment, but they'll play their heart out in that.
Yeah. No, it's those moments make you reflect and realize who's important around you, and how sport can help people actually provide an outlet for grief as well.
Absolutely. And if you wanted proof of families and the community, the Rob Benjamin Memorial went ahead on Sunday, survived the weather, and they had a rattling good day. They played a 20 over match side T20 and then a T10. And I went along. I was invited as a guest, which is a great honour. And if you look at that, the crowd there, Tom, was immense, and everyone had a rattling good time. The tea was excellent, very healthy salad tea, which was laid on by the rugby club ladies, I think, and that was proof, if you like, of the way cricket rallies around, because it wasn't only Whitland cricket were there, Whitland rugby were there, players and colleagues of his work time, all there. It's proof of how things go with that. The Alan Davis Memorial was on in Carew as well. I can't tell you much about that, I'm afraid, but it was because I wasn't there. But it's another occasion now where people want to go and support, not only to watch good cricket, but to support the memory of a great competitor and a real character and a lovely bloke, and his family as well. So it's there in sport, but it's there in cricket, I can tell you that.
Definitely. And in fact, on Monday evening, we're going to hear from John Thomas from Whitland. Where did you interview him?
Well, about 20 yards from the stumps. I wasn't sure if Robert Croft would have time or be too stiff to talk to him. I had already spoken to Sean Hawley, who was a great rugby pundit who was playing. And I said to John, you don't want to just have a couple of words? Yeah, he said, of course. So we started to talk, and I could see the umpires trying to signal him. And they were saying, come on, we want to get on. So I grabbed a quick 2 minutes with him. But that's Pembrokeshire sport. It's great. It is. Yeah.
It is. I love that so much. And we'll hear that on Monday evening with Eaton Evans and Morris Listers on Pure Sports Show from 7 o'clock. And also, talking of community spirit, you bumped into someone else around the boundary.
Yeah, amazing people I've met this week. I've been very lucky. I mentioned Robert Croft, of course. He's an MBE for his services to cricket. He played 21 tests for England, 41 days. He was there to support Mike Phillips, who's a friend of his, who organised the visiting team there. Mike's a Whitland boy and proud of it. And he scored 50, and he was so stiff he could hardly walk. It's only his second game in 10 years. He's 61.
Wow.
And, he was a great player. But I spoke to him. What a star man he is. You listen on Monday and you'll hear that. I also spoke, we mentioned John Thomas and Sean Hawley, but another remarkable fella called David Smith, OBE, and he had his honour for services to promotion of Paralympic sports, of disability sport. He's won 5 Paralympic medals, 3 of them gold in bocce. Jacob Thomas, my old friend's sport, and this whole event in Haverfordwest was organised, a bocce tournament, and chance to try it in memory of Jacob, and his parents, Mike and Caroline, were there. It was a marvellous occasion, but there's a character again, Tom. I've been very honoured with the people that I've interviewed over the years, all the top people from Warren Gatland down. That man is worth listening to on Monday, I can tell you that. And Fraser's going to be talking to Gareth Skirfield from Pembroke Dock, who's a great member of a great family. His dad, Lenny, is a star man, a great friend. And he's organising again this year the Valero rugby charity match in Pembroke Dock. So amazing. Fraser is talking to him and a couple of others as well. So a nice show on Monday.
Yeah, and very nice show. And also, I've seen photo evidence of you meeting the Queen of Whitland. I'm calling it that. She doesn't call it that.
Yeah, you be careful. Yeah. Yes, I turned up at Whitland. And when we were chatting last week, Gina Jones, who sadly isn't here today, she's not well, she said, I'll see you up at Whitland. I'll call up. And when I got there she was with a lovely young 11-year-old lady. And Poppy, who's 11, going on about 23, I think, with a star. And Gina was there. We had a nice picture taken us. Poppy took that, and that's nice as well. And she's a great supporter of sport. And I love her being on the show because she provides a different perspective to us fellas, doesn't she?
She very much does. And in fact, Whitland and ladies, they actually had a good match over the weekend as well.
Yeah, indeed. And things that, sport for women is improving immensely. We've got the results. We'll give people in a minute of the final round of league matches in ladies cricket. The ladies rugby, I see Haverfordwest, they're already advertising for people to come and join them. I know, I think Fraser's Llanrhian ladies team are in softball, and they're off this weekend for a special event. We'll have news of that next week through Fraser, I got no doubt. So there's a lot of sport, and that's how it should be. We've got to promote kids, disability, and women's sport, and in any order, those three. But I think it's important the county recognises that, and it does.
Yeah. And so looking at the ladies' cricket then, I didn't realise, so the ladies' cricket, the final round of the division's been?
Yeah, that was in midweek this week. They managed to play the day before. The rain swept in, and Chris Elliott already won the first division because they played so well all season. they beat Burton. Elaine Scale had 28. Remember we interviewed her the other week? 61
Yeah.
year old grandmother. She had 28 not out. Again, well done.
Not out. Has she been out yet?
No, she might have been once.
Once.
But I'm only saying that because she wasn't on the score sheet for scoring 25 once. So, I don't know. But she's remarkable. And Chriselli had good bowling from Ava Midgley, Lucy Johnson, and Megan Arthur, who all grabbed plenty of wickets there. So Chriselli, confirmed their rights. But I'm chuffed as well to see Pembroke, who started off there so enthusiastic. They've got great support from the men's first team captain and vice captain, Jack Harris and Luke Butler, and they've improved out of all recognition, and they won the second division. And to me, that's a real reward for their enthusiasm. They beat St Ishmael's 72 for 9. Tish, Kath Orton, a well-known cricketing family. Malcolm, her dad, played, so did Neil, her brother. She had 29 not out. But for Pembroke, Bobby Neal had 17 and 2 for 13. Ollie Allen 2 for 13 and Jodie Lewis 16. So well done to them. In the other games, quickly, Whitland beat Haverfordwest 71 for 7 and 63 all out. Close game there. Whitland, Liz Richards 4 for 8 and Fleur Davis 2 for 9. Beth Howes 23. Pembroke Dock were all shot out by Hook for 36 and Hook got 40 for 5. So a low scoring game. In that game, Chloe Lewis took 3 for 4 and Gemma Phillips 3 for 6 for Haverfordwest. Lana Jones and Cheryl Hughes got the runs then with Hook. And then in Division 2, I mentioned Pembroke, and then Kilgetty scored 102 for 5, which is a big score. But Nayland went and got that 103 for 2. Bethan Chapman, 25 not out. So that's very much alive and well, ladies cricket, thanks to Sam Rossiter. There's still the Clive Huxley final that will be played in Stackpole, not this Sunday, next Sunday. So Sunday week. So that's a great occasion. Again, in memory of a nice fella, Clive Huxley. I played a little bit of cricket with him in Stackpole. Very proud of his being a member of the MCC. And Kath has gained her membership now. So her and her husband, Richard Adams, who plays for Narberth, they were up watching a bit of Test cricket this year. And the Madams, I used to play cricket in the same team as it. The Madams sent me some pictures of the Test match and said, "Guess where I am." So nice for Buggy, as she's known to everybody. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic! It's great to see the leaps and bounds that league's taken on with those few influential characters that are going on there, particularly Sam Rossiter. But you've already mentioned Wendy with St Ishmael's. It's having those female leaders say that this is our game too, and they've really brought that out this season. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and if you look at the men's cricket, that's this 6 divisions this year. All right, 5 and 6 are a little bit foreshortened. There aren't so many teams in those. But if you look back to the first we mentioned, Chriselli, interesting, if you don't mind, Tommy mentioning a couple of others in that. Bottom versus top, Burton bottom versus Nayland top at Burton. That's a game I hope to have a quick look at. Bottom of the table, a vital game for Branston and Langham. They're 9th and 8th. And they're just above that safety margin. But, 4 games left, you lose 3 of them, you will go down. Saundersfoot 6th against Lorraine. And in Division 2, there's plenty of interesting games. Haverfordwest still top. They're playing Hook, who are 8th. Plenty of activity. Carew 2nd, playing Pembroke Dock, 6th versus 4th. Llanrhian at home to Whitland, who are 2nd and eager for points. There's still lots of cricket. Johnson won their bottom. They won their last 3 games on the trot. So it's great to see. They're playing Llecryd, who are 5th. So that's in Johnson. In Cleveland's, I'll pop over and see that on the way to Nayland as well. So, lots of cricket. It's great to see.
That is great to see. And you've already mentioned it's great to see disability sport doing well. And you've already mentioned we're going to hear from someone involved in bocce, but there was a special event held on Saturday.
Yeah, it was in Haverfordwest. I say it was pouring with rain, but people went into the new hub there in the school. Fantastic facility, Tom. And tried their hand at bocce, because it could be a great sport for everybody. It's not, people see it as a disability sport. It's not. It's a sport. And I watch youngsters in there. I'm not so young. A couple of my old school chums came running over to give me a hug when they were there. It was lovely to see Ben and Darren, lovely boys. and they were playing their hearts out there. It was a great day for very experienced players like Sean Jones from Fishguard, with people who've never tried the game before. So a good event, and well done to Rachel Mayhew and Angela Miles for organising, and Carol and Mike Jacobs, mum and dad, being there as well. I enjoyed going there for an hour. Yeah, it was good.
Oh, fantastic! And also, there's some congratulations in order for a sport that we don't necessarily cover that regularly, but he's done well.
Well, the boy's done well, and I'm very pleased because I count him as a great friend. We do the sports awards every year together. He organises it, and I stand on stage and make a mug of myself. Alan Jones is a very talented golfer. Do you know, Tom? He's over. Well, he must be 60ish coming up now, Alan, and he won the Welsh Open Seniors Golf. 144 competitors from all over Scotland, England. Not many from Wales. He beat the blinking lot. And his reward for that, he's been selected for the Welsh Golf Seniors Team of 7 to play in the home country's senior matches at West Kilbride Golf Club in Ayrshire in September. And typical of Alan, he plays it down. I said, hey, well done, it's great. Yeah, long drive, though, he said. Yeah. So he's driving up to that. They have to make their own arrangements. But it's lovely. He gets his Welsh blazer and the badge. They get polo shirts emblazoned with the Welsh emblem on it, and their special hat. And he's going up there. The nice thing is the English team 7, 5 of those came 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th to him in the Welsh Open. So he knows them. So he's able to, do you know he plays off +2, Tom? Do you know what that means? I didn't know for a long time.
You explained this when you caught up with him the other week, but my memory escapes me.
Everyone wants to achieve par.
Yes.
So that you scratch. So it means you go around your par. If the par is 72, you're expected to hit 72. He's expected to get 2 better than that. He is so skillful. This is what the top golfers aim for, but higher than that again. And he just plays it all down. He's so matter of fact. I mean, he'd only booked 2 days off work because he didn't think he'd get the 3rd day.
That's right.
When he told his dad, Johnny, who was the district rep on the Welsh Rugby Union for about 15 years, he just said, oh, I played, what have you been doing? Well, I've been playing in golf up in Ashburnham. And then he reveals it to Johnny, who's gobsmacked, because, when you think of all the golf clubs in Wales, to win that and now be one of 7, 2 of the team playing English clubs.
Yeah.
Broadway and Peasington, but the others are all from, the other 5 are from Wales. There's a lot of golf clubs, Tom, and he's in the team on merit. He was one of the 3 automatic choices. So all I say to Jonesy, when he smashed that window in Pembroke Cricket Club all those years ago, and I was captain in the seconds and I had to tell him off. It was worth it, mate. It was worth it. Yeah,
it was worth it. Fantastic. If you want to listen to that interview when Bill caught up with him the other week, all of the previous Pure West Sports shows with Ethan Evans and Morris are all available on purewestradio.com, so you can listen back to all the interviews that are collected from Bill and the team on the website. Bill,
what I would like to say is, when he comes back from that, he would be a very worthwhile candidate for the Monday Night Live show. I can tell you that.
I think that you're definitely onto something there. What an experience you'll have to share with us. And as you say, he's such an understated guy. I've had him in the studios here before talking about the Sport Pembrokeshire Awards.
Yeah.
And as you say, he's cool as a cucumber. He just takes everything in his stride. He's a fantastic role model of you can excel and not have the stress and anxiety that goes with it. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Bill, thank you so much for, again, enlightening us with Pembrokeshire sport and what's going on around the county. There's so much of, and as you say, of all different standards. There's 6 divisions of the cricket, and then we've got people representing Wales as they nearly turn 60. We really do have it all here in our little peninsula, and I love catching up with you every Friday morning to hear all about it. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's Feel Good Friday, Bill, and you know what that means?
Well, you always let me pick the first record. I have to tell you, sometimes it's Mrs. Carne who picks the first record. And this week we've picked one we both agree on. We heard it on the radio this week. It's Peter and Gordon, To Know You Is To Love You. And when that song came out, I found I could sing it. I heard it the second time, and the rhythm of the song, the music was so lovely. I could sing it, not well, but sing it, and I could still sing now. interesting. Peter Asher was Jane Asher's brother, the famous actress, and Gordon Waller. And they only had a couple of hits, but this is a class one.
Amazing. So to know you is to love you. Peter and Gordon is on the way for you. It's just gone 7:30 here this morning. Bill, as ever, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend of sport, and we'll catch up next week.
Yeah, and I hope everyone else has a good sporting weekend as well. Ta-ra, Tom. Ta-ra, everybody.
Thank you so much. You're listening to Pure West Radio.
Thames Paving, registered waste remover.